We're starting today's walking tour at Queensway Station, which is on the Central Line. And the reason we're starting here is because it's the closest station to Kensington Gardens, which is just over the road. So I'll just have to cross this road. Now, Kensington Gardens is basically the same park as Hyde Park. It's just at the different end of it. It's divided by the Serpentine, which sounds like it's a river, but it's actually a man-made lake that looks like a river. So we go through this entrance here. This will take us into Kensington Gardens. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this tour today, it's a really lovely day, really hot here in London. So it's nice to come to the parks and actually get a bit of fresh air and get out of the traffic and be able to experience a little bit of nature as well as being in central London. But Kensington Gardens is also really interesting because it hosts a lot of different things in here. And you may not be aware, but Kensington Palace was formerly the actual residence of the kings and queens of England. It's actually more kings and queens of England have lived at Kensington Palace than at Buckingham Palace. So we'll take a walk along to the palace, which is just around the corner here. Have a look at the beautiful manicured grounds. And we'll also take a look at the Princess Diana Memorial Garden, which is a big tourist attraction. It's almost like a hidden secret attraction, but it is well worth it. I've been there many times. It's amazing. It's really quite incredible. I'll have a walk down this path, which is a lot of bikes and people, a lot of traffic on this path. But we'll be soon off this. I'll jump into the gardens. I just wanted to get into the park itself. But you can see here lots of trees, lots of greenery, lots of space, no traffic apart from all of the bikes and some of the electric bikes. So really, you wouldn't think that you're in central London. And we're going to take a walk all the way through the park. We'll see some of the attractions in the park, but we'll take a walk all the way through to Marble Arch, which is on the far corner of Hyde Park. Now, the interesting thing about this part of the park, Kensington Gardens and Hyde Park, because it's all one big space, is that it was divided when William III decided that he was going to make what is now called Kensington Palace the royal residence. Before that, it was called Nottingham House. So he took it over, bought it, and then he said, I will have some of Hyde Park as the gardens, please. So the gardens on this side are a bit more manicured, and there's a bit more like gardens. We'll see them when we get close to the palace. But Hyde Park itself used to be, this whole area, in fact, this Kensington Gardens and Hyde Park, was formerly owned by Westminster Abbey, when Westminster Abbey was owned by the Catholic Church, because the church in England, up until Henry VIII's day, was Catholic. Everybody was Catholic. That was the predominant religion. However, in 1834, Henry VIII decided that he wasn't happy with his wife, Catherine of Aragon, because she wasn't able to give him a male heir to the throne. So he decided he wanted to have a divorce and remarry. So he asked the Pope, who's the head of the Catholic Church, for approval to get divorced. The Pope said no. And so rather than just taking that on the chin, Henry VIII decided he wasn't going to stand for that, and that he was abolishing the Catholic religion as the main form of religion in England, and that he was going to create a new religion called the Church of England. So all of the churches in England were then converted to the Church of England, and all of the property that it owned became owned by the state. So Hyde Park, which was previously owned by the Catholic Church as part of Westminster Abbey, became a royal park. And it was actually, Henry VIII used it as a hunting park. So he used to come here and hunt deer. It was a private park for him in those days. And then in the 1800s, the royal family decided to open these parks to the public. So that's why all these royal spaces, because these are still owned by the royal family, why they're available as public parks, because it was decreed that it was good for the public to be able to have access to these nice open spaces. So these are all still maintained by the royals and all of their groundkeepers, so that's why they're in such nice condition. You get a lot of old trees here though, really quite spectacular. A lot of space, a lot of shade. Now I'm going to cut across the grass now. I'll go down the path, shall I? I'll go down the path in a second, because I want to go to the Orangery, have a look at the palace, and also have a look at the Princess Diana Memorial Garden, all of which are over on the right-hand side. So we're at the top end of the park here, and as we go to the left, we'll be heading towards the Serpentine and Hyde Park itself before we end up at Marble Arch. But I wanted to make this video really because it's nice to get out and about, it's nice to have a walk, it's nice to see some open spaces and some trees and some greenery. So I wanted to do something different with the walking tour and also have a look at a little bit of the history of London and what's going on with regards to the royal properties and palaces, and I thought this would be an interesting one today. So this main road here goes all the way through, it goes over Serpentine, on Serpentine Bridge, we'll go across that later. So you get a bit of traffic, but no vehicles, just bikes, some electric bikes, all of that. So let's hang a right here and have a look at the. No, we'll go along to the end here, which is the entrance to the palace. We'll take a view of the palace first before we have a look at the Orangery and the Princess Diana Memorial Garden. So in the distance, you can see a statue of Queen Victoria. And the reason why there's a statue of her is that this was her home. This was actually where she was born. She was born in Kensington Palace back in, when was it? She took to the throne, I think it was 1837, so she would have been 19, I think she was born, something like that. Yeah, she was born at Kensington Palace. She lived here till she was 18. She then became queen when she was 18, so she was very young. That's why she reigned for such a long time, because she took over when she was quite young. And as soon as she became queen at 18, she decided that she didn't want to have Kensington Palace as the royal residence anymore. She wanted it to be Buckingham Palace. So the royal residence changed when she took over. So it was the end of being officially the Queen and King's residence when Victoria left. So since then, we've had a lot of other people living here, including Princess Diana and Prince William and Kate Middleton. They lived here from 2013 to 2022. Princess Diana lived here for 16 years until she died. So this was her last official home. So we've got a nice memorial for Queen Victoria. And this is Kensington Palace itself. And this place is huge. It's absolutely massive. Now you can go in here, but you have to have a ticket. So you need to buy tickets in advance, usually. So if you're coming here and you want to go inside the palace and check out the public spaces that you're allowed to view, because it still operates as a royal residence. So Prince William and Kate Middleton still have an apartment here that they use when they're in town. They live in Windsor now, but if they're coming to London and they want to stay here, then they have their apartment. You can't go and see that, obviously, because that's their private accommodation. But there are public spaces that you can go to see, and there's a cafe here as well. So it's really quite pleasant coming here, and it's a nice royal residence. It's a huge house. It's amazing, really, to think that the kings and queens of England for 150 years almost lived here. This was where they were ruling England and the UK from. So yeah, a lot of history. It's in really good condition. Obviously, it's been well kept. So we've got a cafe here. We'll have a quick look back. That's the gardens, basically, of this house. That's the way it worked. This was their garden. So we walk past this cafe where you can have some snacks, some drinks, whatever you like. Sit outside. Nice place to have a break if you're coming as a tourist, have a look at everything. But there's a really nice path here that I wanted to take you on. It goes up, it's a little bit like a maze. So it's quite fun if you're coming here. I'd recommend doing this. It's just a walk, you don't have to pay. So just go around here, but it feels like a royal maze, the way they've done it. It's quite a nice feature, this path, all built up with the hedges around it. Feels fun to walk it. So I definitely recommend coming here and taking a stroll along this path. And at the top of this, we've got the Princess Diana Memorial Garden. So we'll have a look at that, and then we'll have a look at the Orangery, which is the restaurant where you can get afternoon tea. If you're interested in that, I have made a video of that afternoon tea. So you can check that out if you want to see what it's like having afternoon tea at a royal residence, royal restaurant. No spoilers, but it was pretty good. So here we go, getting to the top of this walking maze, and we carry on round there. We'll come to the Orangery, and if we go this way, we go to the Princess Diana Memorial Garden. So let's take a walk up to the Princess Diana Memorial Garden here at Kensington Palace. This is the palace itself here. That's the Orangery over there. Let's walk through, have a look at this memorial garden. This is really quite spectacular. Got this beautiful water feature in the middle. This is all enclosed, you can't go in there, you only look from the outside. Statue of Princess Diana with her children on the other end. Beautiful gardens, really nice flowers. But one of the nice features here is that they've made this a covered walkway. So it's nice and secluded. You can see it's dappled shade today. But all along the way, there are vantage points that you can see the garden. So you can just have a look wherever you like. So even if it's busy, you're going to get a good view. There's lots of these vantage points that you can take. It's just a nice place to come. It's quiet, relaxing, peaceful. You can sit down, think about life, have a little look into the gardens. Yeah, it's really, really special place. So if you haven't been here, I would definitely recommend when you come to London, come to Kensington Palace because it's nice. Have something to eat at the Orangery, definitely recommend that. But come to this Princess Diana Memorial Garden and just take a bit of time out. And we just have a look here. There's on all four of the sort of the middle sections, there's a little vantage point that you can lean across so you get a different aspect of it. Really nice. And then you're back into this secluded section again. It's just a really incredible, emotional place to come to. I think a lot of people like to come here and pay their respects. Get a good angle on the statue from here. So you can see, get a good aspect on that. And of course, we've got vantage points on the other side as well. You can see through to the gardens. They've done a really nice job. You can see there's a nice part here that we can see. Now, that isn't the Serpentine. That's actually Round Pond. We'll go and have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, they've done a really nice job of enabling you to get a feel for everything around here. Really good, really nice. And of course, the main reason for coming here is to see the memorial garden itself. Here's the top end with the statue. So you get a view of the palace behind here, looking back towards the palace. Really very nice garden this is. And then the last bit of the covered section. So if you haven't been here, hopefully you've got a flavour for what it's like, and hopefully it's encouraging you if you come to London to come and have a look at this garden. Even if you're not interested in Princess Diana, I think it's really interesting. There's a little plaque here. It says, Diana, Princess of Wales, lived at Kensington Palace for 15 years and admired the seasonal displays in the Sunken Garden, often stopping to talk to the gardeners. Her sons, the Duke of Cambridge and the Duke of Sussex, commissioned the statue in memory of the princess, unveiling it on the 1st of July 2021, which would have been her 60th birthday. A poem chosen to remember their mother is inset in the paving, and it reads, "These are the units to measure the worth of this woman as a woman, regardless of birth. Not what was her station, but had she a heart? How did she play her God-given part?" So really quite touching, emotional. So yeah, this Princess Diana Memorial Garden, really, really special place to come to. I'd definitely recommend putting this on your list of places to visit. So let's have a walk through to the Orangery, which is a restaurant open to the public here at Kensington Palace. It was originally a greenhouse. So this was built when Queen Anne was the Queen of England, and she wanted to grow some oranges. So they built her a giant greenhouse. And when I say giant, This is the biggest greenhouse I think I've ever seen in my life. Now, she didn't actually use it as a greenhouse for that long. She decided that rather than growing oranges, she would rather use it for entertainment purposes. So she used to invite all her friends round and they would have parties here. So it became basically a royal party venue. And it remained like that for many years, but it's now a restaurant and you can get a really good afternoon tea or lunch here. It's a great place, as you can see on a day like this when it's nice and sunny. It's got a terrace, you can sit outside. It does breakfast and lunch, and most importantly, afternoon tea. And anybody that watches my videos will know that I'm a huge fan of afternoon tea. And I have had afternoon tea here, and it was good. So if you want to check that out, please have a look at that video online. Give you a flavour as to whether you would like to do the afternoon tea here or not. But it's just incredible. If you look at this place, it's massive. And then we've got these beautiful gardens leading to the palace. There's Kensington Palace itself, and there's the Princess Diana Memorial Garden. So really amazing. So that is the Orangery. Now let's head back and have a look at Round Pond. If you're enjoying today's video, if you think this is the sort of thing that you'd like to see more of, then please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments where you'd like me to walk. I'm really enjoying doing this. One of the reasons I started it was to just get me out and about, because I make a lot of videos and many of them are made in my office, sitting at a desk. It's really, not that exciting, and hours, days, weeks can pass by without actually leaving the house if you're not careful. So doing things like this is good for me because it gets me out, gets me seeing parts of London that I don't see that often, and also reminds me what a great place London is. And it's a great place to walk around. And that's why I wanted to make these videos, really, just to share that with you, but also to get me out and about. So hopefully that might inspire you to go out and about as well. Maybe get to do something you haven't done for a while, and you can pick up your camera and film it if you like, or you don't have to, you can just enjoy life. But yeah, it's important, I think, to take time to smell the roses, quite literally, when you're here. So yeah, if you're enjoying it, give me that thumbs up and please subscribe. Now, we've got some water ahead of us here. Spoiler alert earlier, I did tell you that it's not the Serpentine, so this isn't the big expanse of water that separates Kensington Gardens from Hyde Park. This is actually the lake, or the pond as they call it. It's called Round Pond. This is the pond for the palace itself. So when the kings and queens of England lived here, this was their spot of water that they'd like to come and have a walk around. Maybe they used to sail some boats like I did when I was a boy. You'd go down the local boating pond and put your little boat on. Probably all remote control boats these days, which you aren't allowed in any of these royal parks because of the wildlife, and also it's annoying if people get remote control boats out while you're deciding to have a nice peaceful day out with the family. You don't really want somebody racing their boats across the middle of the water. But yeah, this was the pond, and there's the house, pretty close. So Queen Victoria herself would have taken many strolls along here around this pond. Maybe she went out sailing on the pond. I mean, it's not very big, but you could go out in a rowing boat if you're a child. It'd be quite good fun. Maybe she did that. Not quite sure. Haven't read up that much about her life as a child. There's plenty of birds here. So the two main species of bird that we have in this pond are swans, which are protected royally, and geese, which are not. And then there's also some pigeons as well. But pigeons, yeah, nobody really pays much attention to the pigeons. But the swans, very elegant, quite large birds, mixing in with the geese. Got a little bit of a fountain here, so that's all fun. It's just a nice, pleasant stroll past the water. It's quite nice to hear running water while you're walking through the park. It gives you that sensation of movement, which is quite good. So we're going to take a walk through to Hyde Park itself. So we'll see a few things along the way. There's a couple of art galleries in the middle of this park. So we'll have a walk past those and see some statues. I'm going to go off the We're going to go off the path now onto the grass. So let's have a walk. So I think we should be aiming to get to Marble Arch, hopefully in about 30 minutes, something like that, maybe a bit quicker than that if I walk a bit faster. So we'll see a few things along the way, go over the Serpentine Bridge. So yeah, it should be a nice, pleasant, enjoyable stroll. Hopefully you're enjoying it. This grass is a bit uneven, so I'm stumbling along here a little bit. Quite busy the park today, but as you can see, still tons of space. So even when it's a really hot sunny day and people will come into the park, you'll still find lots of open spaces. I definitely recommend coming to these parks if you're in London. It's definitely a good thing to do. It's nice to see some of the wildlife and just chill a little bit. So I was told originally that you're not allowed to ride line bikes in the royal parks, but I've certainly seen a lot of people on line bikes, so I don't think that's true. I think you can ride line bikes in the parks. I was actually, at one point, I was thinking about doing a series of videos, riding round on a line bike in the royal parks, and when I looked it up, it said I couldn't do it, but I think you can. Certainly the evidence of this video is that people are using electric bikes in these parks. So if you're interested in an electric bike, very easy to hire one these days. You just need to download the app, tap it, and then you're off and running on the bike. Very easy. No need to get your passport out and pay a deposit or any of the things they had to do many years ago to hire a bike. And also, they're electric, so they're much easier to pedal. You don't have to put as much effort in. You still have to pedal a little bit, but not that much. In fact, I'm always surprised now when I see people not on electric bikes, like that person there. So a good thing about these parks is that there are a lot of trees here. So you get a lot of shade. So even if it is really hot, it's not too unbearable because once you're in the shade, it's a lot cooler. You can see many people have opted for shade rather than sunshine on a day like today because it is quite warm. So hopefully just enjoying the peaceful walk through the park. Now the Hyde Park section of this park, which is on the other side of the Serpentine, is probably going to be busier because that's closer to central London. This side is Kensington side, obviously, and then we're going over towards Oxford Street, Park Lane, those sort of places. There's a lot more activity, more offices, more shops, more tourists. So I think it's going to be likely that it'll get busier as we get closer, or as we cross over into Hyde Park itself. But it's fairly busy in this section, this road. Seeing a lot of bike traffic. A lot of people enjoy hiring these bikes. The great thing about them, you can just pick it up in one place, take it wherever you're going, and then just leave it there. You don't have to worry about security and locking it up and finding your bike and having to go back to the same place. You just move it from one place to another, and that's it. So I think quite a good innovation, good development over the last few years. These electric bikes from Lime and Forest are the two main ones in the UK, in London. Well, there's a memorial there for Prince Albert. You can see it's right by the Albert Hall, the dome behind it, and then there's that golden statue of Prince Albert, which is huge, and that was Queen Victoria's husband who died, and so she built that memorial to him after his death. So that's at one of the other entrances if you're going down to the Royal Albert Hall. So yeah, quite a nice little feature, but I'm not going to take a walk there because I'm heading towards the opposite direction. But it is quite a nice entrance if you come in on that side. You can see the Royal Albert Hall dome there. So it's a concert hall, have a lot of classical concerts there, also some pop and rock concerts, but started life as predominantly, and so the Proms is there. That's probably the most famous event each year. They have the Proms, which is an orchestral series of concerts that goes on for a month or so. And of course the last night of the Proms is quite a famous event. Lots of people turn up and Union Jacks and those sort of things, and they play lots of classic British songs like Land of Hope and Glory, God Save the Queen, or God Save the King as it is now, those sorts of things. So yeah, Royal Albert Hall, obviously named after Prince Albert, who was Queen Victoria's husband. So effectively was like the king, but he doesn't get the title of king. It's an interesting dynamic that if you're a man and you marry somebody who becomes the monarch, you don't become the king. So Queen Elizabeth II's husband was the Duke of Edinburgh, so he didn't become king. And the same with Prince Albert, he didn't become king either. He was Prince Albert, married to Queen Victoria. So we're now heading towards the Serpentine. So there's a couple of really interesting art pieces that I wanted to show you here. So there's a gallery here, which is called the Serpentine South Gallery. So it's just through those trees, but I want to show you this art piece, which I particularly like. So I'm not sure whether this is, I don't think it's a real tree that's been struck by lightning, but that's the concept. So it looks like a real tree, and it's obviously all gold at the top. It's been painted gold. I presume it isn't wood. It's made from some man-made structure, but it looks like wood. It looks like a tree that's been struck by lightning. If we have a look at the name of it here, it's on this little placard. It says it's Thunderstruck Tree. So quite effective, quite good, quite like that. I like art in parks. I think it's a nice thing to come across. And there's another piece here I thought is interesting to look at. So you might be able to see some people running through it. This is a lot of plastic rods, basically. There's sorts of plastic hanging pieces, a bit like curtains, I suppose, but there's a lot of them. And then you can walk through this. So I'm going to do that. Thought it'd be quite good fun to walk from one end to the other. See how it looks on camera. Probably going to look really bad, but it's a bit of fun. So I'll take you through it and we'll see what it's like. But it's an interactive art piece that you can get involved with, and this is it here. So it's called Penetrable. So we'll just head through this and follow that boy through here. So yeah, these are just plastic pieces that are hanging. Quite a funny sensation to walk through. A bit like going through one of those dividers that keeps the flies out of your kitchen. quite good fun. So yeah, something a bit different to do here. So yeah, penetrable BBL. So it's something in Kensington Gardens that's a bit of fun next to this art gallery. So we're going to head towards the road now because we want to cross over the Serpentine. So we'll go over the water. But this is quite a modern gallery. You can see it's got another really interesting piece here. Quite nice design to it. You can go inside here, sit down, have a quick look as we come through. So there is a little cafe bar, so you can sit and have a coffee and a drink. It's quite a nicely designed space. So yeah, a lot of thought has gone into that. Now coming onto the road where some traffic does come through, so there will be a bit of traffic now, but it's just because I want to get over the Serpentine. So we'll have a look once we're on Serpentine Bridge at both sides of the water. Looks great. And then we'll jump down onto the water on the other side, give you some perspective. But this feature was designed deliberately. It wasn't already here. It's not naturally occurring. So they built this water feature and it was designed to be to look like a river. And I think they've done quite a good job. It does feel like we're crossing a river when we go over this bridge and when we go down to it as well, which is nice because when you're in a park like this in central London, if it didn't have any water, it could feel a bit oppressive and just a bit dry and not as nice. I think water's a really nice feature for parks. So it was built obviously a long time ago, the Serpentine. And even the name of it, I think, feels like a river, sounds like a river, even though it's not. So when people refer to the Serpentine in Hyde Park, I think a lot of Londoners do think that that is some sort of river, tributary of the Thames or something like that, but it isn't, it's a lake. But it doesn't look like a lake. So let's head over the Serpentine Bridge.